Do you know what this is, folks? Do you know what this is? This is my celebration hat when Blackburn Rovers go absolutely mental and we take home the victory. Yep, I haven't been able to wear this for 4 games now. 4 pissing games. Let's talk about the latest match. The result against Huddersfield next. That's right, folks, back once again with another match review. This time we're picking apart Rovers' latest match. It was live in front of the Sky cameras against Huddersfield, and it ended up all square, and we'll talk about that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, championship related, world football related. We're going to all here. Underwater-roski, boys and girls. Now, before we get stuck into the match, and we're going to break it down bit by bit, I just want to let you know that I have a Patreon page out there. That's right, a Patreon page to support my work right here at Blackburn Rovers. It is a blood-sweating, tear-jerking sort of thing that I have to do each and every single day. It's not my full-time job at all. It's what I do for a passion. I love doing it, but I want to crank up the content to another flipping level. And with that aim and that goal, I would love to see if you guys can help me succeed in that area and achieve reaching another level with Blackburn Rovers. So if you are at liberty and feel that this is something that you can help push me towards, check it out in the old description down below. There's a link to my Patreon page. It'll show you the perks and privileges for each one of the tiers, ranging from just $1 a month, and then that gives you access to all sorts of bits and pieces. And of course, it helps me push towards my goal, and that is to create the finest football content out there on the web single-handedly. Maybe a little bit of help from the wife. Anyway, let's get going now, folks, and take a little look at the match. It was a 2-2 draw at Ewood Park in a game that was a game of 2 halves. It is an expression we hear all the time, but this was a prime example of just that. Rovers dominated the first half, despite trailing within the first 13 minutes or so. Callum Grant putting the ball back in the net. It was a bit of a dubious sort of penalty. If you look back at it, for me, it's one of them. It could go either way. I am sure if you weren't giving up that penalty, you wouldn't be too disheartened about it. If you know what I mean. I know if you would get given it for sure, and I'm sure you would have argued to the cows come home if it was up against you. So for me, it was one of them. I wasn't too sure. Obviously it's a bit tainted glass for me because it was a Rovers foul which led to the penalty. But anyway, that led to the opening goal. Grant puts it in the back of the bins, and of course he's scoring goals for fun so far in the championship. So that made a next one for him on the old benchmark. But then it was the Rovers show, and it was the Dack and Holtby show. Those two linking up absolutely like a peach and a pear in the middle of the midfield. For I don't rate this formation or this lineup they have on who scored here. I think it was more Armstrong down the middle and Dack and Holtby creating the business in the middle of the park, and they linked up like they've been playing for football for years. First and foremost, Holtby sets up. In fact, Dack sets up Holtby for the first goal to push us 1-1, and then it was the other way around. Holtby set up Dack, and it was 2-1, and we were in control for the first half, and that led to an extra bit of 10 minutes of pressure for Rovers, and we could have even snatched a third before half time, but Huddersfield dug deep and actually saw out the half, and then in the second half it was all Huddersfield. They really changed it up personnel-wise, and ultimately got the second goal for themselves. Bacuna, the substitute, goal-scoring phenomenon from the bench, 3 goals in 3 games for him. In all fairness, I did anticipate this. I did anticipate Huddersfield coming at us, and I did expect Rovers to not lose this game. I thought we'd either win it or draw it, and unfortunately it was the latter. 2-2 final score. 13,761 fans were in attendance to watch this. I'll talk about my man of the match in a minute, but the absolute shitter of the match was Darren Bond, the referee. What a clueless little weirdo he is. So many fouls were going against us, so many softies and dives and stuff like that from Huddersfield players. Well, what were dubious free kicks. But anyway, let's take a look at some of the stats at the bottom there. 13 shots for Rovers, which is good. 12 shots for Huddersfield. We did dominate possession. 62.5% of all possession was with the Rovers players at their feet. And we had better successes with our passing as well. 81% of our passes reached our intended target. 68% for Huddersfield. As for the dribbles, they were more fruitful with the dribbles, more dominant in the air as well. 15 to our 10 aerial duels and 11 tackles to our 9. They also had more corners than us, and that is a huge thing for us, which have been made apparent this season. We are absolutely shit at taking set pieces. We've lost the Mulgrew effect, and now we have to rely on Downing, who hasn't been that good. Dack, Rothwell, they've all been a little bit shirty. We need to find someone that's a bit of a magician in the back line. Anyway, let's take a look at the starting line lineups here. They are what was between sticks. Bennett was at left back. Yes, that is a left back. Williams, Adebaro, and Nyambe, which was on the right hand side, which was a decent flat back four. Johnson, Travis in midfield. Dack, Downing, Holtby, and Armstrong were with the players moving forward. And these are my match ratings. One gets a 5. Actually, the only things he had to do today was pick the ball out of the back of the net. He had a couple of little saves, but ultimately, I think he was at fault for at least one of their goals. Bennett did okay at left back, but didn't set the place alight. Williams did pretty decent as well. A couple of little late blocks as well. Tosin did okay for his first start in the centre back slot. I think it's his first start in a long time. Nyambe did absolutely beasts down the right hand side. It was great to see him back, and I hope to see him there for the remainder of the season. He is a right back by trade. He's not an Elliot Bennett who can play anywhere you like, even in the kitchen making the brews. But Nyambe was an absolutely phenomenal down the right hand side of defence. Johnson had probably one of his worst games. He did try to strive things forward, and for whatever reason he played the full 90, but he was nearly at fault. I think he might have even been at fault for one of the games as well, but for one of the goals. But he had a couple of short passes that led us in a bit of trouble. Travis was his busy best, but ultimately to little or no effect. Dack and Holtby get 7s as well. These would be 8s if they were match winners, but unfortunately a draw only justifies a 7. And Armstrong was a little toothless up top. Downing was pretty decent as well with his passing, but that is about it. Quick look at the Huddersfield lineup. We have Garabara between the sticks, Liverpool Loney on goal, in goal. Young Stirrer at the back. Brown, I think his name's Brown. Don't quote me on it. Jared Brown, something like that. Elphick, Schindler, and Simpson at right back. Hogg, Chabala, O'Brien, Chikunja, Diakabi, and Grant led the line. So there's some more statistics for you folks. Because if you like stats just like me, these are them. These are the shots and stuff like that. We actually had more touches than they do, 652 touches compared to their 453, nearly 200. In fact, just shy of more than 200 touches than Huddersfield. We had more passes as well, 485 to their 286. And down the bottom there, you can see where all the shots took place. Rovers, who had 4 wide of the mark. We only had 3 on target, 2 in the back of the net. They only had 2 on target as well, and they also went back of the net as well. So more shots for us, which is good to see. More on target again, something that we've been lacking as well. If you're a heat map man, just like me, take a little look at the heat maps. As you can see, Huddersfield barely went down the middle. They chose to go down the right-hand side and left-hand side using Kachunga and Diakabi on the wings, which were to good effect, both pacey, both creative, both causing all kinds of problems. As for Rovers, all over the shop, especially down the middle as well. Yeah, all decent spread of play, but we just ultimately felt ourselves a little bit short in the end. The substitutions, that was another huge factor in this game. The chess match that was held off the field between Mowbray and Cowley was definitely won by the visitors today, making excellent substitutions. Bacuna coming on, Campbell as well, and this other youngster, I'm not too sure, Hakajogajogic, he also came on to pretty good standing. As for Rover substitutions, Rothwell didn't really create much. Gallagher as well, and throwing Evans on the last minute was a nullified substitution. I'm not too sure. A frustrating afternoon for Rovers. The commentator said that we had a plan B. I thought we had a plan B, but ultimately our plan B was absolute ass. But anyway, that's a little bit what I've had to say about the match. What did the gaffer have to say? Here's his thoughts after the match, the result, and of course looking forward to Birmingham.
Well, ultimately disappointed, I think, on the to go goal down so early from a penalty and to perform at the levels we did for staff. I think we have to strive for consistency. I think over 90 minutes. Which I think every team has to do that. It's difficult to maintain the levels, and yet I think the levels at our best we should be able to win lots of football matches playing at the level we did for most of the first half. Second half, you have to give them credit. They swung the momentum their way. Disappointing to lose the second half 1-0 because we could have been out of sight for staff really, and so frustration is the ultimate feeling of the game. But credit to them, they're on a decent run. If we'd have played them 5, 6, 7 games ago, we'd have probably not had to play as well and still won. But you'd have to say that Dan and his coaching team have given them a bit of belief, and so we're disappointed ultimately. I'm not sure. It was a long way away from me. I don't think the referee gave it. He had a little think for a few seconds and then decided to give it. I haven't watched it back. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant to me. If he gives penalties, I can't do anything about it. You aren't going to change it. We're not in the Premier League where VAR can change a decision. So, but it's, our reaction is what's more important from going behind. And I think it was pretty good. We managed to cut them open and score some goals. We have to strive for the consistency to keep playing at them levels really. Yeah, listen, he probably needs to get up to speed. He's played his fourth appearance for us. He's come off the bench a few times. He hadn't played any football since the end of last season. He just needs to get up to speed. But he's a very talented individual. We're looking forward to the future of him really over the rest of this season. We're playing with Dack and trying to link, and Downing and Rothwell and Armstrong and Gallagher, trying to link the front end of the pitch. Hopefully there's goals there. So. But our problems today were obviously defensively. We picked up some pretty serious injuries, and we were mixing and matching a little bit today. And despite that, I thought the levels were pretty good for staff. Yeah, I think so. I think you create chances. We created lots of chances today. That's how you want to play, really. How we did first half. That's what we do a lot of work on. From game to game, and you only see the games. It's in my opinion, there's improvement in the team. What we have to find now is improvement on the consistency of the performance level. So, Blackburn Rovers are playing hugely different from what they did a year ago, for instance. Because Danny Graham, we would play diagonals off Danny would drop it down for Dack, and he'd trying a bit of magic, and we'd try and score and win games like that. We're now managing to control games more. And I hope that as we grow and develop the consistency and the ability of the team to dominate games for longer spells than we did today, not just 45 minutes, but for longer. That's how you win games. The processes are right, and you can keep possession, you can create chances, you can score goals, you can defend high up the pitch, and yet, as I say, credit to them. They were in the Premier League last year. They got some very, very good players, and they've got a confidence level about them, having won the last 2 games. And so we left frustrated and disappointed not to take 3 points at home again. It's not rest and recuperation. It's everybody in tomorrow, everybody in Monday, everybody go and play a game Tuesday, everybody in Wednesday, everybody train Thursday, Friday, and play again Saturday. There's no rest and recovery. It's preparation and keep going. And when you need to rotate your squad, you rotate your squad. That's why they all have to be a part of what you do. Yeah, we're looking forward to Tuesday. Birmingham, I think we got a 2-2 away at Birmingham last season. It's a difficult place to go and play. They're a good side. Saw them recently against Middlesbrough on the TV. They looked very, very potent. So a tough game, but that's the Championship. There's no easy games in the Championship. It's whether you're at home or away, they're all tough. So it'll be tough for Birmingham on Tuesday as well.
Meanwhile, earlier in the week, I did speak to both a Rovers fan and a Huddersfield fan prior to kick-off. Here is first the visitors' point of view. Obviously, I think they're happier of the 2 fans.
Okay, so I've just finished watching the match. 2-2 draw, which is the result I predicted. I predicted 1-1, but I predicted a score draw, and happy with the result. I think both teams really ought to accept that's a fair result. We started the game well. I think for the first 20 minutes we were really good. The penalty, it was a penalty, but it was a soft penalty, but it was the right decision. And if I was Tony Mowbray, I'd say I'd be looking at my own defender more than the referee, really, for giving the opportunity for the penalty to be given. It was a clumsy, silly challenge from someone who clearly isn't a natural fullback, or certainly not a natural left back. And Diakabi just put him in all kinds of trouble. Penalty was taken well, and then we were in control of the game. And then Tommy Elphick, as he's done a couple of times already this season, really thoughtless bit of football. I find that Tommy Elphick struggles when he's got time to think. He's an instinctive player. If you actually give him time to think, he seems to struggle with that. Gives the ball away. Well taken goal, and Blackburn then finished the second half really well with another goal, and they're all over us and really should have put us to bed before half time. I predicted at half time that we'd make some changes and that Bacuna would come on and have an impact, as he has done in recent weeks. It was an obvious prediction, but it was a sensible one, and he did really well. He was probably the best player on the park for the last half an hour. Took his goal really well. Lovely move after that with a little classy back heel to Lewis O'Brien, who could have scored and maybe nicked the winner. And I think for all of the second half, really, we were just in the game a lot more, at the Blackburn players a lot more, and with a better team for the second half. But I do think the draw's fair. From a Huddersfield point of view, it's nice to see Schindler back to his sexy best. Really good play. I think Bacuna had a great impact, and I think that 6 weeks ago we'd have lost that game, probably 3 or 4-1, and we showed resilience and fight and tenacity, which is great. Worry for me, Jonathan Hogg still seems to be going missing in games, and and we can't take a corner to save our lives. I'm not sure when the last time we scored from a corner was, but we seem to just not have the impact from a corner that we should be doing with the players that we've got, with the aerial threat that we've got. But overall, 4 games unbeaten, having taken just a point before the Cowleys come in. We've now taken 8 in 4 games, which is phenomenal, really, as a turnaround. And looking at the next 6 games, I reckon there's 12 to 15 points there to be won. In which case we'll be climbing the table pretty rapidly and back to probably where we feel like we belong. Somewhere in mid-table, top half of the table. Middlesbrough on Wednesday and then Barnsley on Saturday. They're the teams either side of us, really. I think Barnsley are second bottom at the moment and Middlesbrough are a point ahead of us. I could see us easily getting 4 to 6 points from there, hopefully 6. But all in all, a good game. We probably had the benefit of...
And then wrapping it up, it is the Bosnian Rover. Yes, he gave me a very, very short message. I think we're lost in translation on this bad boy because he mentioned that we should be playing Manchester United next year, so I'm not too sure about that myself. But each to their own, folks, each to their own.
Hi, Dirk. Hi, Rovers fans. A draw against a team we could beat is a disappointing one for me. I did predict we conceive 2 goals, but I thought we would get 3 points against Huddersfield and move up on the table. I'm looking forward to play against Manchester United next season. And
meanwhile, elsewhere in the Championship, I thought it was an absolute shocks galore for me. I actually made a tweet about 2 minutes into injury time, deep into injury time. A lot of these scorelines were a lot worse than they were. Millwall were winning at home to Brentford, but that actually turned around. It was actually 2-1. It actually ended up at 3-2. What a barnstormer there. Earlier in the week on Friday, Cardiff drew 1-1 with Sheffield Wednesday. Stoke beat Fulham, who just have hit a bit of a rough patch themselves. Stoke, though, starting to get wins on the board. Leeds managed to duke it out for a 1-0 win over Birmingham at Ellen Road. Hull City lost at home to informed QPR. Preston, who we take on Saturday, lost 8th minute of injury time, I think it was, with a Reading goal. West Brom also sneaking out with a 1-0 win against Middlesbrough. Luton Town smashed 3 past Bristol City. Charlton 3 past Derby. Barnsley duked it out to a 1-1 draw. Tomorrow, we'll wrap up this weekend's action with Wigan against Nottingham Forest. Now, speaking of tomorrow, we will hopefully, fingers crossed, I've got a bit of internet issues which prevented us to have the watch along. But tomorrow, we should go live with a watch along if I can get those internet issues figured out. I'm not too sure what's going on. I've got internet everywhere in the house. It's just my main machine here. Causing me all kinds of problems. But anyway, let's take a look at what the table looks like as it stands. West Brom top the pops with 2 points clear now, breaking away from everybody else. Leeds are in second, Swansea third, Forest fourth, QPR up to 5th now, Preston down to 6th. Down the bottom is Barnsley, Stoke and Huddersfield drop despite picking up a point today. Rovers sit in 14th spot, a win away from 11th. Possibly 6 points still on the cards this week because next up we take on Birmingham at St Andrews. Can we get the better of them? We'll have to wait and see. Also this week, QPR taking on Reading, Sheffield Wednesday taking on Stoke, Preston taking on Leeds. That's a difficult one there. Swansea against Brentford. As I said, the game of the week is really Birmingham against Blackburn Rovers at St Andrews Park. Millwall take on Cardiff, West Brom take on Barnsley. Into Wednesday's fixtures, it's Forest against Hull City, Derby against Wigan, Full against Luton, Down, Bristol City against Charlton, and Huddersfield, today's opponents, up against Middlesbrough. Now let's take a look at what else has been said by the fans on social media. Well, Steve Mack, straight to the point here. Time for Mowbray to go. He's taken us as far as he can. Thanks for the stabilising the club, but we need new ideas. It could be getting to that point if we really want to save this season. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I think I'm not saying it's do or die for Mowbray. He has to show progress. I always quietly said playoffs would be nice, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen right now. I just don't think. I think the goal scorers. I think if we can keep this dream team together and improve the piss in defence. I've said it for years on pissing years. We need defenders, more defenders. We've only got one recognised out and out right back. Our centre backs are converted from something else. It's like the mercenaries. We just pick up a go. Oh yeah, he'll do. Lenihan, ex defensive midfielder, he's now centre back. Williams, ex left back, now centre back. Mulgrew was whatever he was before, left backs, midfielder, whatever, converted into centre back. Let's get some defenders in January. Let's get another pissing goalkeeper, because at the end of the summer we're going to lose Walton regardless if he's good or shit. Moving forward, Gibson said this: Holtby Dack link-up play was winning us the game, and Tony Mowbray decides to kill it dead and settle for a draw. Seems every week it's the sub decisions that are being questioned, and that's becoming a problem. Ben Smith said this: didn't deserve to win. Mentally we aren't very strong. Also, we're still not used to possession football. As a side note, though, the amount of diving from Huddersfield was ridiculous. Indeed, it was. Bavarian Rovers, overly flattery for result for Huddersfield with a ref that should never work professionally again. Shocking, just like us, wasting the chances and dominance. Jordan Kingsley said this: no idea what Mowbray sees in Walton. Give us guys an absolute fraud. And the subs were even worse. Took out best players off and left Armstrong on. Agreed. Liam Kinney, subs made us worse. Travis and Holtby off at the same time. Mid-table, Mowbray's Rovers keep plodding on. Matty said this: same old shite, more points dropped at home. Second half was awful. Carry on like this and forget any hope of top 6. And Dougie Meister said this: ref was a joke, to be fair. How is this going to be any sort of momentum in the game when it gets stopped every 2 minutes, when the opposition decide to fall over? Refs should have learnt at half-time after watching the penalty back, but made the same mistakes in the second half. Neil Bolton said this: very good 20 minutes in the first half, awful in the second half, looked bereft of ideas, another mid-table season at best. And Luke said this: same thoughts in no particular order, need to adapt, not sink in second halves like that. Why Holtby subbed? Another odd change from Tony Mowbray, deja vu. Walton needs to do better for that goal. Gallagher, meh again, laughable ref and gamesmanship from them. Yes, indeed. Now that does irk me a little bit, the Holtby thing. Okay, he's only been at the club for a month or something like that, but we just had an international break, which meant 2 weeks off, trying to get yourself up to speed. Surely, and I know there's games on the horizon, and I'm sure he was impressed with the link-up play, and you know what, he's thinking for the future, or thinking for the next couple of days, I'd like to have Dack and Holtby back again. So maybe he was trying to conserve the energy a little bit and try and use him. Same can be said for Downing, but realistically, fresh off the international break, you should be ready to get going. And ultimately, we kind of blew this one. It was a blow-up. It blew up in our face. We gave him a soft penalty. Which shouldn't. I don't think it should have been deserved. I think, for the most part, unbiased opinion. I'm probably sure you get some questionable people thinking that it was a very, very soft penalty. And then took control of the game, and then we blew it away in the second half. And that's what we are. That's what Rovers are. We cannot hold on to leads. We cannot keep ourselves moving forward. And even in those last 15-20 minutes, I just felt I don't see a goal in this. I don't see an extra goal. I even called it at half-time. I said the next goal in this game is absolutely massive, and it went to Huddersfield. And that's that. Before we go, obviously, I just mentioned it briefly. We got double prediction show next week. It's not listed on the graphic, but and then scrap that Monday. So the next Championship live show, which hopefully will be on Sunday. If for whatever reason I don't go live on Sunday, it's because I've got internet issues, and I'll pre-record it and then throw it up there anyway. I know you guys don't want to see that. I know you want to see it live, just like I do. As for the Premier League show, that should be on Tuesday, like it is. There is nothing on Thursday, and then next Saturday, Preston, we go back again live for the watch along for that one. I will not be doing a watch along this Tuesday. I've got work. And that takes precedence, I'm afraid. That pays the bills. Hence the Patreon. It all comes back to the front, boys and girls. It all comes back to the front. If people were to just jump in and help me out Patreon-wise, I'm not begging, not really. But if this was my full-time gig, yes, I'd be there game day, watch along every single piston thing. But I can't. I've got to pay the bills. Got to keep a roof over the head. Got to keep the internet going, except on this piece of shit machine because it doesn't like to play on a certain day. Anyway, folks, that's pretty much all I've got for you today. It is getting up to Halloween season. The decorations are going to be put up here very, very soon. I don't think it'll be there for the midweek game against Birmingham, but you never know. You never know. What do you think about the results and Mowbray? That's a good little teaser to leave you. Should he stay? Should he go? What's the deal? When's the cut-off time? But the ultimate, when people throw that question around, should Mowbray go or stay or go? Who in their right mind will come in to take over the reins. I know it might be a different scenario now than it was 4 years ago or 3 years ago prior to Mowbray, because Mowbray was a gamble, an absolute, a guy on his way out of management, to be honest with you, given this chance that he's turned it into a decent opportunity for him. And I think if he was to go, I'm sure he would be littered with offers, especially League One and Championship level. I think he's a decent manager, but maybe, I'm not saying it's time for him to go, but who would we bring in? Is it a different scenario than it was 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when we brought in the likes of Owen Coyle, who was an absolute shit show? Give me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I like Mowbray. I think he's a top quality bloke. I still think there's juice left in the guy. I think I know what he's trying to get to, but he just can't get there in the end. And a couple of little guys are lacking in belief and confidence, aka Gallagher. And I'd like to see Brereton get back into first team action soon. Maybe he can score the goals that push us up at the table. But anyway, busy week this week. Birmingham Tuesday, Preston Saturday. Catch it all here on Blackburn Rovers. Smash the thumbs up, give this video some love, smash the subscribe. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.